Just wanted to talk, that's all.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. We've got some news. The Yankees have, according to reports, extended Aaron Boone, manager of the New York Yankees. He has helped guide the Yankees to the playoffs in 6 of the last 7 years. I haven't seen yet if the money has been announced. I do think it's interesting that it's only a 2-year deal. The news broke right before my production meeting with Foul Territory. And I was kind of going back and forth with Scott Braun and Eric Kratz. And Braun was kind of surprised that it's not a longer deal, that it's not like a 5-year deal. He was saying, if he's such a great manager and there's going to be this huge bidding war, why not give him a longer deal? And the way I look at it is he's already under contract for this season, which means it's basically a 3-year deal, which is not that short of a deal. I mean, that's what Cashman got. That's typically what Yankees managers get, like a 3-year deal. They don't seem to want to make long commitments to managers. Even Joe Torre initially, I believe, was a 2 or 3 year deal, and then when he would re-up, it would be for 2 or 3 years. They just don't give out like 5-6 year contracts to managers. I'm not a Boone fanboy, but I'm not a Boone hater either. I do fire him on the show about twice per season. But I do think that a lot of the problems that the Yankees had on the field playing baseball, like just fundamental baseball, keeping Gleyber Torres focused, things of that nature, are things that reflect on the manager. And, I would have preferred, honestly, that they let his contract expire and then they tested the waters and maybe looked at another direction. But I do want to put up some things that the Yankees put out about him, just some factoids here, because they released quite a, sorry, this is taking up a lot of the screen. They released quite a, resume here. He's reached the postseason in 6 of his 7 managerial seasons with the Yankees. He took over in 2018. They missed the playoffs in 2023, obviously. Guided the Yankees to their 59th postseason in franchise history last year and their 21st division title since the divisional era began in 1969. They had the best record in the American League, 94-68. He earned his 557th career managerial win on June 11th against KC, surpassing Billy Martin. He'll never pass Billy Martin for the number of players publicly fought in the dugout during the game. I think Billy Martin's going to hold that record forever. He managed his 1,000th game with the Yankees against the Rockies on August 24th, 600th career managerial win on September 21st against Oakland, becoming the 7th Yankees manager in history to accomplish that feat. Joe McCarthy, Joe Torre, Casey Stengel, Miller Huggins, Ralph Houck, and Joe Girardi, the others. He has 603 career managerial wins and 22 career managerial wins in the postseason. That's the 5th most in franchise history, trailing only Joe Torre, Casey Stengel, Joe McCarthy, and Joe Girardi. Torre has 76. Casey Stengel is second with 37. That just tells you what an October staple Joe Torre was. But honestly, it would have been interesting if instead of extending him as manager, they just signed him to a deal to play third base, because they still have not addressed the third base issue. But Aaron Boone coming back. Let me know in the comments and in the chat what you guys think of this deal. Again, it's not one of those things where I'm like upset about it, but I'm also not like super hyped. It's just kind of like status quo. It is what it is. It's, I didn't think that they would fire him. They went to the World Series last year. They were going to bring him back. I'm glad it's not a 5-year deal, right? There have been communication issues with the Yankees. We had the issue with, Harrison Bader didn't know he was hitting leadoff. There's been a number of things throughout the years. He sticks with guys that are struggling for way too long, whether it's DJ LeMahieu and Anthony Rizzo and Alex Verdugo. The only reason that DJ LeMahieu is even in camp right now is because he's under contract. He wouldn't even have a team if his contract had expired. But Verdugo and Rizzo both basically out of baseball at this point, and yet Boone kept running them out there day after day, and that's partially on Brian Cashman as well. So it's going to be an interesting year, see how fans react to this news. Conveniently, I just put Joe Torre's book. I got my hands mixed up. I just got Joe Torre's book up there on my shelf there, The Yankee Years, which is a phenomenal book. I don't know if Aaron Boone's going to write a book on this, but look, he's going to be with us through the 27 season, which means he will be with us through pretty much the bulk of Aaron Judge's prime. He's going to be 33 this year, so he'll be entering his age 36 season whenever Boone's next contract begins, whether it's with the Yankees or with someone else. So you can look at this 3-year deal or 2-year deal with the included year this year, essentially a 3-year deal. You can look at these 3 years as what the Yankees view as their winning window. You got Judge at the tail end of his prime years, and you got to win now. Garrett Cole is signed for 4 more years. You're hoping you get 2 or 3 good ones. And then at the end, he's almost certainly going to decline, as almost every pitcher does, around that age. Or sooner, quite frankly. And he showed some signs of it last year in the metrics, kind of having to become a different type of pitcher. We got some comments here. Richard Gandia says he seriously doesn't know how to manage a bullpen. I have had some issues with how he's run the bullpen in the past. Doug Rao, always great take, says people used to get participation trophies. Now they get 2-year contracts. What a world. Can always count on Doug. Francisco Camarena says, are we going to go after Vladdy after the contract negotiations went south? I don't think so. One, the Blue Jays wouldn't trade him to the Yankees. And number 2, they've got Paul Goldschmidt locked up for the year. And number 3, Vladdy's going to be a free agent after the year. He's going to test free agency. And I think, unfortunately, the Mets and Steve Cohen are going to be waiting with an open wallet and open arms. Gregory Wayne says, I can't stand this signing. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of that going around. Just as somebody who interacts with Yankees fans on a daily basis, I can tell you that most Yankees fans are not fans of Aaron Boone. They're fans in spite of Aaron Boone. Doug, again, says Boone's name will be on the book, but the front office people will write it. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. A lot of the time, the front office will recommend lineups, recommend different alignments, and it's up to Aaron Boone to kind of, sign off on it, which he usually does, or to change something. Last year there was an issue with Gleyber Torres not wanting to move to third base, and the front office was like, who cares? Put him over there at third base, let him deal with it. But Boone sided with Gleyber Torres. So he does have the final say in terms of the product that gets put on the field. But in terms of the roster that he has to choose from, obviously that comes from the front office, and a lot of the recommendations each and every day come from the front office. Caden Mills says, I want Murakami to be our first baseman next season. Let's go. I think I agree with you there. Now, here's the issue with Murakami. He strikes out a ton, and he only hit about 250 in Japan last year, maybe even lower than that. And that concerns you when you come to the major leagues because, in general, the pitching is tougher in the major leagues. But pitching is very good in Japan these days. The gap has shortened, but the average major league pitcher throws harder than the average Japanese pitcher. They're bigger and stronger, and But Japanese pitchers are excellent with split-fingered fastballs, which is a very effective pitch. Probably won't see as many of those in the major leagues, although it could be coming back. But I like Murakami. I think his swing lines up perfect for Yankee Stadium. But I'm not sure if the numbers will translate. It's going to be an interesting thing to find out. I do think that Vladdy Jr. is going to ultimately end up with the Mets. They're trying to assemble a young core. And if you got, Soto and Vientos, and you get Vladdy for however many years, right now they've got Pete Alonso signed, but I could see Vladdy stepping in and then Pete Alonso either becoming a DH or them moving or him opting out, that type of thing. So let me know in the comments what you think of this Aaron Boone news. I know some of you are not big fans. Tony Wilson says, get Tucker during the offseason and move Bellinger to first. That's an interesting idea too, because Bellinger is a good first baseman. He can play first. He's going to be in center field this year. Playing first base might be a little bit easier on his legs, allow him to stay a base stealer a little bit longer. Might keep him a little bit healthier. A lot of the problems he's had have been from like collisions and things like that. Although I guess you can collide at first base. I mean, just ask Anthony Rizzo. He hasn't been the same since his collision with Fernando Tatis. But look, there's a lot of different ways we can go next year. Next year is next year. I think it's fun to talk about, team building and roster construction and all that. But we're at the point in the year now where the season's about to begin. The team we have is pretty much the team we have. And at some point, you got to stop looking towards, 2026 and focus on 2025. So, hopefully Boone can guide this team. Obviously, some injuries already. We're going to do a voicemail show tomorrow. Call in 718-899-1068. I'll unveil something we're working on here. Let me just go ahead and pop on over, give you guys a little sneak preview of something we're working on. So this is a preview of tomorrow. So baseball games do begin today, but not for the Yankees. Tomorrow they will begin for the Yankees. But during the season, we always do a voicemail show, and that's going to continue this year. It began early last year. We're going to do 10:30 in the morning on weekdays after a Yankee game. So if there's an off day, we won't probably have one the day before. But if there's a game the night before, the day before, we'll do a voicemail show the next day. And we're going to have, basically, it'll be more structured, kind of like our post-game show. So First Pitch is this segment I'm working on that will be essentially my thoughts from the night before, from the game before, things like that. Just any kind of news and notes going around. And then obviously we'll go to voicemails.
200 new messages.
We'll do that. We've got different front ends and things like that. Inside Edge is a new thing that we've got this year. Quick nugget, Austin Wells finished the 2025 season with no hits in his final 25 at-bats versus right-handed pitchers. We'll be able to have those all year. We have access to Inside Edge, so we can basically use these factoids as a little jumping-off point. So go ahead and subscribe so you're part of this community and so that you can be a part of it all year long. And again, let me know what you think of the Aaron Boone news. And for now, I got to go get ready for Fair Territory with Ken Rosenthal, which begins at 12:30, and then Foul Territory at 1. So tune in for those. We'll have, I'm sure, plenty of news on Boone and company. Again, if you're just joining, 2-year deal for Aaron Boone. And we'll talk about all of that as the season unfolds. Back at it with the voicemails tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, State of the Yankees with Terrence Kem. And then we're back in the regular rotation because games are back. So we'll see you tomorrow, baby. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.